Seattle was unusually quiet the night of the election. The streets weren't empty, but something about the air felt heavy, like the city was holding its breath. When the news finally broke that Elena Rhodes, an unapologetically socialist candidate, had won the mayoral race, the shock rippled through every corner of the city. Downtown offices, late-night diners, corporate WhatsApp groups, and investment Slack channels erupted with one emotion: panic. Business owners typed messages with trembling fingers, analysts rewrote their predictions, and cafes whispered with rumors of what the next 4 years would look like. At dawn, Ryan Carter walked along the Seattle waterfront, steam rising from the cup of coffee in his hand. Normally the quiet water and soft fog calmed him. But today, his mind was racing: wages, taxes, regulations, everything he had built with North Brew, his coffee chain, felt suddenly fragile. He took a deep breath and looked up at the skyline. She has no idea what she's about to do to this city, he muttered to himself. By mid-morning, an emergency meeting filled a large corporate hall. Screens flashed charts predicting steep financial losses, people argued loudly over projected wage hikes, and frustration overflowed. One tech CEO slammed his palm on the table and shouted, "If this policy goes through, we'll move our headquarters out of Seattle." The murmurs turned into a wave of fear. The entire room radiated one shared sentiment: uncertainty. Meanwhile, across the city in her new office, Mayor-elect Elena Rhodes reviewed stacks of policy papers. Her office was quiet, bathed in soft sunlight from the wide glass windows overlooking the skyline. She knew the backlash was coming. She expected it, but she wasn't a politician chasing popularity, she was a fighter chasing fairness. She walked into the press room and firmly declared, "Change is not the enemy. Inequality is." Her words spread like wildfire online. Some praised her courage, others mocked her idealism. And somewhere in his office, Ryan watched the clip several times, his jaw tightening each time. That evening, North Brew's office was filled with uneasy whispers. Employees exchanged worried glances. One finally approached Ryan and asked, "Are we going to be okay?" Ryan wanted to reassure them, but he couldn't lie. He didn't know the answer. Driven by frustration and curiosity, he scheduled a meeting with Elena. City Hall looked intimidating at night: high marble pillars, wide echoing hallways, and stern security guards. When Ryan entered Elena's office, the tension between them was immediate. He laid out the numbers, the risks, the projected collapse. Elena listened carefully, her expression unreadable. Then she said something unexpected. "Let me show you the Seattle you don't see in your spreadsheets." The next morning, they visited a homeless shelter. Ryan watched a young barista who worked 2 jobs but still couldn't afford rent. A delivery driver described how he barely had time to sleep between shifts. An elderly woman explained how medical bills had swallowed her savings after decades of loyal work. The stories were raw, honest, and painful. Ryan's confidence cracked. For the first time, he saw people, not statistics. But Seattle wasn't settling down. Protests erupted across the city. On one side marched workers holding, "Fair wages now" signs. On the other side, business owners chanted, "Save our businesses." Tension thickened. Media outlets turned the conflict into headlines that spread nationwide. And in the middle of it all, a major tech company announced it might relocate, a blow that could cripple the city's economy. Elena called for a massive negotiation meeting inside City Hall. The room was packed: business owners, workers, economists, activists, city officials, everyone gathered under the same roof, fueled by anger and fear. People shouted, pointed fingers, and pounded the table. Eventually, Ryan stood up and spoke over the chaos. "We're not enemies. We're just scared of different things," he said. The room fell silent. For the first time, both sides heard each other. Elena presented a balanced plan: a gradual wage increase, adjusted tax brackets, financial relief for small businesses, and stronger protections for workers. It took hours of debate, compromise, and negotiation, but finally, papers were signed. Both sides left exhausted, but for the first time in weeks, there was hope. In the final moments of the season, Ryan stood outside his coffee shop at sunset, writing on a chalkboard, "Change scares us, but stagnation destroys us." And across the city, Elena stepped onto the City Hall balcony. The orange glow of the setting sun lit up the skyline. She rested her hands on the railing, watching the city she was determined to transform, knowing this was only the beginning of her fight.